welcome back to the Fantasy Football Field Guide. This weekend I wanted to upload, but it just got super busy with Easter and other stuff with my family that I had going on. So this week you're going to get a video today, you're going to get your video Wednesday for your random Wednesday, and then you're also going to get your video Saturday. So it's alright, still going to have just as many videos as you would, it's just going to be a couple days late. Hope that's not a problem. We've got our poll today. Who would you rather have as your QB right now, Justin Herbert or Trevor Lawrence? I think this is an interesting debate. You already know what Justin Herbert can be. Trevor Lawrence, as good as he can be, we really don't know yet. I would rather have Justin Herbert, but that potential of Trevor Lawrence might just be too high. But today we have an interesting one. We have potential fantasy draft bust. So let's get right into that. Okay, so potential fantasy bust. This isn't necessarily going to be terrible this year, but I would say they're not going to be as good as expectations. So they could see drop off in points, whether it be from the acquisition of another player or just all around how they're going to be. But let's just get right into it and I'll explain as I go. First up we have Will Fuller. I added Tua to this, but Will Fuller is the main one. He's a deep threat receiver. He's got that speed. He was really good with Deshaun Watson last year, who could really push the ball downfield for him. And with Tua, we haven't seen that ability yet. Not saying he can't do it, but I just don't expect him to be just slinging the ball downfield looking for guys like Will Fuller. He's still gonna be a good receiver, probably like 10 points per game, but last year he averaged about 17, and he's going to miss the first game anyway with his suspension, so I don't expect him to be as good as maybe like some people think. Definitely not a first round type guy for me. If he's still there and you're looking for a wide receiver 2 or even a flex option, he's a great option for you, but not that top end receiver that people are expecting him to be. And with Tua, I also kind of have him on this list. People might think he's going to have a breakout year, which he could, but that doesn't necessarily mean a great fantasy year. He's more of a game manager type, which isn't a bad thing, but it's like that Alex Smith role where he throws the short passes, doesn't make mistakes, but he also doesn't take the risks, and to be a good fantasy quarterback you have to take the risks. So I don't think he's going to put up a whole bunch of counting stats this year, but he's gonna be good, just not quite for fantasy. So next we have Allen Robinson. So Allen Robinson is a really good receiver, but I just don't trust Andy Dalton, and I don't trust that play calling. It came out that Nagy's still gonna be calling the plays. I don't think that's a good thing, and I think some Bears fans agree with me on that one. So Robinson is a deep threat guy. He can go up and get the ball. He can do a little bit of everything, but that's his main thing. He's a red zone target. You just throw it up to him and hope to see what happens. And with Andy Dalton, just like I said with Tua, he's more that short passes, won't make a lot of mistakes, and that's not going to bode well for a guy like Allen Robinson, who needs the ball to be thrown to him even when he's covered, because he doesn't create that separation like you would want with a traditional deep threat like, say, Tyreek Hill. But Allen Robinson is still a really good receiver, just not a good fantasy receiver in my opinion for this year. I think he will be better than Will Fuller, but definitely not that wide receiver 1 that we saw last year. Next up, we have, sorry Bears fans, but David Montgomery. He was amazing last year. The only thing I have holding him back for this year is the return of Tariq Cohen. And when Tariq Cohen was healthy, David Montgomery was only averaging about 10 points per game, which is still good. Good running back 2, good flex. But it's definitely not what you want for that running back 1. And I do think he'll put up more than 10 points. I think it'll be about 12 points per game with Tariq Cohen, but with a guy like Tariq Cohen, you have to give him the ball. So David Montgomery's not going to be getting every single touch like he was last year. And Andy Dalton's not going to be able to just throw to him like he can with Tariq Cohen. So, sorry Bears fans with the 2 in a row. Didn't mean to do that to you. But David Montgomery's a really good back. But don't look for him to be the best back on your team. Next we have Josh Jacobs. He went under the radar last year. He was quietly a very good fantasy running back last year. But for some reason, I still don't understand the move. They went out and got Kenyon Drake, which a guy like Kenyon Drake is going to get touches. You're not just going to pay him, what they pay him, like $10 million around that to be a backup. Like, doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but it definitely hurts Josh Jacobs' stock. Still, once again, really good running back, but they obviously want to get someone else in there to get those touches. And once again, just a running back 2 flex option, great. He's definitely a top end flex for me. Probably an average running back 2. He's probably going to put up about 10 to 12 points per game, just like David Montgomery. But don't be looking for that best running back out of Josh Jacobs, because I'm not sold on it. I think this is the last one. Trevor Lawrence. This one's not really a bust because we don't know what to expect really, but I do think some people are going to expect like the Justin Herbert breakout like last year, and that's just not something I see happening with Trevor Lawrence. He doesn't have a Keenan Allen. He's got Marvin Jones, and Marvin Jones is good, but he's not Keenan Allen. And even the second receiver was Marvin Williams, right? Sorry, may have messed that up. But Trevor Lawrence is DJ Chark, and it's not really a fair comparison between the two offenses. And Jacksonville is not as good as a team as the Chargers were last year. And I think they're going to rely on James Robinson heavy. They just signed Carlos Hyde. They're just going to they're going to ease him into the role. And maybe towards the end of the year, he does pick it up as he gets to know the offense. But I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to be slinging the ball like Justin Herbert was last year. Not even mention Justin Herbert had Hunter Henry last year, a go-to tight end that he could do. And Jacksonville, I think Tyler Eifert is their best tight end. So don't expect too much out of Trevor Lawrence. I'd be fine with drafting him in the late rounds just in case he does break out and have a great year, but don't be looking at him as a starter, or there's even some better backups out there that you could grab. So yeah, that's the last of it. I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Go to the Twitter, vote on the poll featuring this guy right here. And I'll see you again Wednesday. And thanks for watching.